Hi, Tracy here, and I have a layout in process called Chat as Curly. I'm back. I have not scrapbooked in probably, I don't know, 6 weeks because of school and working, and then because of the holidays. That just really took me right out of my scrapbook room. But I finally got a chance to scrapbook. I'm using the December Heartbeats Scraptastic kit. And this paper is called We Are Memory Keepers. It's the Shine collection, and it's called Brilliant. And I'm just going over it with some gesso. It had a little too much of a yellow tone to it. Almost actually like a yellow-green, and it just didn't go with the picture, so I went ahead and did gesso over it to tone it down with, and I like that. It still shows through. You can't see it so much on the camera, but the newspaper effect does show through the gesso. I'm just drying it with my heat gun because I didn't want to wait for it to dry. And now I'm gonna, these pictures that I'm using are real antique-y because they're from my son being in this Of Mice and Men play. So I wanted this layout to have sort of a vintage look to it. So I'm using that, the first one I tore is Amy Tangerine Stitched, and it's called Thrifted. And then the wood one is Kaisercraft Hello Today collection, and it's called Present. And then that blue one on the flip side is the stars, and it's Gossamer Blue on My Desk Stargazer. And I'm going to just go ahead and Mod Podge these down because I'm actually going to gesso over them, so I needed them to be really flat down. A little tough getting stuff to stick to the gesso sometimes. So I cannot even believe the holidays have passed. That was just crazy. Trying to keep up with everything. We barely got our house decorated, and usually I help with decorating the tree, which I was there while we decorated, but I literally didn't even put one ornament on the tree this year. So now I'm working up at the top left corner because I'm going to do a little cluster there, which actually one of my pictures is going to go there too. And I left that cluster hanging off because I know I'm going to mat this layout, and I want that cluster to go off onto the mat as well. Now I'm using this, that's a Prima brick stamp, and I'm just stamping all around. Just to add to the sort of old look to it. And then these are swirls from, I got these stamps I got them used at a scrapbook store sale. And so I'm just sort of stamping them all over as well. And now, first I gotta dry the stamps so they don't smear, which actually one of them does a little bit, but that's right. This is not my favorite layout I've ever done, but it's because I haven't done a layout in so long here on YouTube, I decided to go ahead and post it. which, you know, that's all right, right? Not everything's going to come out perfect. But usually if I'm going to post, I prefer it if I really like the layout. It's not that I don't like this layout. I do like it. It's just not my favorite. So now I'm going to just splatter some ink around. And these are Mr. Huey's. One of them is, I believe, Bonnie Blue. And then I think that is Warm Calico. And then I sprayed some Bonnie Blue as well around. I'm just picking it up with the towel a little bit. I was thinking I didn't want it so bright, but I kind of regret that actually. I think I would have been better off to let that dry. So now the kit comes with 2 of those gray sheets of cardstock, and I'm using one to matte the pictures, and then I'm going to use the other one to matte the entire layout. And I am going to take a Tim Holtz distresser and distress the edges of the picture mats. I don't know what I'm doing right now. But I'm going to matte the other picture, and then the one that goes up in the left corner I'm not going to matte. The picture there is a picture of the poster. They had posters on the wall, or 8.5 by 11 posters on the wall of each character in the play, and this is the character shot of Chad, and he's in character in his picture on the wall there. And then the other one is actually him on stage, and then the one up in the left hand corner is going to be a picture of the poster for the play. And now I'm going to use the ATG to matte this, which as this dried, it started to buckle pretty bad and didn't want to glue, so I am going to have to go back and glue that with wet glue. I don't do it on camera, but I should have just done the wet glue to begin with. So okay, so now it's still a little too bright white, which is what I was trying to avoid all along because the pictures are very antique-y. So I'm going back with Distress ink, and I just watered it down, and I'm just painting over the entire layout with the different stains of, I have a walnut and a tea dye, and I don't remember the other one. And then I believe the blue is tumbled glass. This one's a little too dark, and I realize, oops. So I just wipe it back off a little. I just have a little water bottle that I'm spraying that ink with. And here I pick it up around the edges. And then I'm picking it up around the edges of the pictures as well. Because I didn't want to waste that ink. Now that it might as well, instead of going straight from the pad. And it worked good. And then there we go. I'm going to go around with the blue because I wanted a little blue color as well. And that pulls out the color of the papers. And here I'm working on my title. I don't recall the name of those stickers. I apologize. They're gray, and they have a little gloss to them. And then I'm going to use my Dymo to do the as curly part of the title, which I think looked perfect. I loved that look of the Dymo with the poster up above. It just went really nicely to me. I popped up the top edge of that picture up at the top and then used the ATG on the bottom just for a little more texture. I was going to try and use these puffy stickers, but they just didn't work. Too cutesy for this layout. And now I'm pulling stickers. In the kit, to make it fit in the packaging, they cut off the label of it, but I do think it's the Amy Tangerine Stitched collection. I'm very out of the loop on collections because, like I said, I haven't scrapbooked in probably like 6 weeks, and even before that, I've just been happily getting my kit. I haven't been doing scrapbook shopping. I have done some shopping for mixed media supplies recently, but not actual scrapbook supplies, as in kits and papers or collections. So now I'm going to put some wood veneer stars around, which seemed perfect. And I do use just a couple of the stickers here actually I use 3, and I use these hearts, which I don't generally use hearts so much on my boy layouts, although I do, but these hearts were really subtle, so they seemed perfect. I don't do very much embellishing at all on this. It turned out to be a very simple layout, even though I did all those layers with the gesso and the stamping and all that. The overall look of it looks pretty simple. So now I'm doing some outlining of I do just Chad, I outline, and then I as far as the title goes, and then I outline some of the stars, which to me was the perfect touch to make it not such a simple layout and made it look more kind of Hollywood, I guess. I don't know how to explain what I mean, and I outline each thing with several different thicknesses of these pit pens. Actually, just 2 different thicknesses, but I like that look, especially because those stars that I'm outlining are already cut out as opposed to a solid star. So I like that look. And then I'm just going to outline the as curly with different thicknesses, or underline, excuse me. And then that's it. So there you have it. There's my finished piece. I'm very, very happy to be back in my craft room and happy to be back here on YouTube. And I'm looking forward to doing lots more layouts, and I will post them soon. So I will see you with my next layout. Thanks. Bye-bye.